We continue next with more Legends Division action as the master of the Diamond Cutter, Diamond Dallas Page, gets set to go toe-to-toe with Scott Bell's most recent acquisition, Ravishing Rick Rude.
Oh man, he showed up at Legends Showdown and everybody just about lost their damn minds.
This next contest is set for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first, hailing from the Jersey Shore, weighing 235 pounds, here's Diamond Dallas Page.
Wrestler, manager, trainer, and philanthropist, Diamond Dallas Page has done and continues to do them all. Page, well known for his generosity and kindness to others, has helped many of his fellow wrestling stars put their lives back on track. On that basis alone, Diamond Dallas Page is clearly who I'd prefer to see winning this matchup over Rick Rude, whose name obviously suggests he's never been helpful to anyone but himself.
By Scott Bell from Robbinsdale, Minnesota, weighing 254 pounds, Ravishing Rick Rude.
It was a point that came up during Legends Showdown between Chicago, Danny Awesome, and Sir Reggie Smythe. I would love to know, too, where the hell Scott Bell got money to recruit Ravishing Rick Rude, despite the fact that recruiting Rude is scraping underneath the bottom of the barrel.
It really is a gutsy move by DeShort, and while Rick Rude might still be a name, that name might as well be mud around here. Guaranteed, Rude will have no friends backstage unless they're also working with Scott Bell. That's gonna breed a nasty disposition for Rick Rude.
Nastier than what we got right here? Oh boy, put that robe back on, son. Don't nobody want to see that stuff. And why's he got Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve on his trunks?
Who's Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve?
Well, that was gratuitous and unnecessary, but I'm sure Scott Bell let him get away with it just for the fun of it. Referee Tom Kennemura rings the bell. Late comes center ring DDP. Has Rude up, an elbow to the back of the head. Rick Rude with a jumping neckbreaker on Diamond Dallas Page. Rude rounds DDP up. Knee right to the head of Diamond Dallas Page. Rick Rude beating the head of DDP against the mat. Rude rounds up DDP again, gets him by the trunk, snap suplex from the Rude one. DDP makes his way up to a standing position on the apron. Rude tags him with a right, but DDP counters, gets a hold of him. As he again, Rick Rude with the elbow to the back of the head, and another jumping neckbreaker to DDP. Rude going for a cover, one, and just a one. Rick Rude gonna have to redo from start here. Rude drags DDP towards center, delivers a stomp to the arm, a stomp to the midsection. Rude dragging him center again. He's gonna try for another pin. Arrogant, one. He's an arrogant SOS, isn't he? DDP. Stomp to the face from Rick Rude. Rude catches an elbow from DDP. Back up on his feet, charges. Tornado DDT right there. A kick to the back. A stomp to the chest. And now DDP starts unloading with hard right hands on the face of the Ravishing one. Rude back up on his feet, gets a hold of DDP in a dragon sleeper. Releases the hold. DDP with Rude to the ropes. Whoa! Did you see that? Man, that was amazing. Kick to the chest from Diamond Dallas Page. Makes his way all the way up to the top turnbuckle here as Rick Rude tries to stand himself up. DDP misses with the elbow drop. Rude has him up the military press slam from Ravishing Rick Rude, who, that turnbuckle's going to get a lot of activity this evening, Okay. Kick to the back from Rick Rude. DDP with a running elbow takes him down to the canvas. Diamond Dallas Page drags Rude towards center. Sets up the flip over neck whip on the Ravishing one. Rick Rude counters, gets back up on his feet. Gets a hold of Diamond Dallas Page. Page with a shot to the gut. And another running elbow takes Rude down to the canvas. Rude with a wrist. Very clever roll up. One. Again, just a one. DDP back up on his feet, charges. Rick Rude counters with a kick to the midsection. An elbow to the head, but no good. DDP counters with a couple of shots. Finally, Rude nails the elbow to the head of Diamond Dallas Page. Rude follows it up with a stomp. Rick Rude behind in a rear chin lock on Diamond Dallas Page. Page flailing. Referee watching things. DDP trying to extricate himself from this nasty situation. And Rick Rude finally releasing the hold. Rude gets a hold of DDP, whips him to the corner, nails him with a right, gathers him up by the hair, escorts him to the corner again, smashes his head into the turnbuckle. DDP, look at this. Whoa! An inverted front cradle slam from Diamond Dallas Page gets a hold of him, rolls Rick Rude up for a, oh man, wow, one, just for one, again, DDP with a clothesline to Rick Rude, follows that one up with another one, swing and a miss from Rude, rebounds off the ropes on a third forearm. Rick Rude counters, gets back up on his feet, rounds up Diamond Dallas Page. Page yanks him back down by the hair. Rude counters with a shot to the midsection. DDP with a running kick, but ow, just took him. DDP playing games here with Rick Rude. Rude on the ropes. DDP hangs him up by the midsection off that top rope. Ow, that hurts. I don't care who you are. Diamond Dallas Page sets him up with a powerbomb. Takes a little walk with Rude. Sit out powerbomb for Rick Rude. And man, he just went all over the place. Too short, Popeye. Getting into it with DDP. And you knew it just had to happen. DDP abusing Scott Bell's newest piece of merchandise. There it is, the diamond cutter. And this should be a wrap right here. But it won't be because Too Short Popeye, Scott Bell, has decided to intercede. Referee trying to calm him down. Back body drop from Diamond Dallas Page. Page makes his way up to a standing position on the apron again. Here comes Rick Rude. Biding his time. DDP tags him with the right. You took too long. Rude rounded up over the shoulders of Diamond Dallas Page. Slammed down hard. DDP rounds him up again. Fireman's carry from Rick Rude. Who again has DDP by the scruff. Slams his head into the turnbuckle. And he's going to do it more than once just to make the point. Oh, man. Down goes DDP. Rick Rude already bleeding again. He took a hell of a beating. And that 8-man tag match between Bella Unlimited and the Heenan family at Legends Showdown. Rick Rude nails DDP with the pile driver. Oh, man. Well, the tides have just turned here. DDP with a clothesline. Pitches Rude out onto the floor. Goes on out after him. Naturally, Scott Bell going in for a closer look. And that can't be good. DDP makes his way back inside the ring. Rick Rude laid out face down on the canvas. Rude counters with an arm drag. DDP on the canvas now as Rick Rude stalks Diamond Dallas Page. Kick to the midsection. And there it is, the Rude awakening for DDP. Could be the end here. Now just hold on. Wait a minute now. Scott Bell foiling the referee's count again. Rick Rude held DDP down for like a count of 9. But Too Short probably screwed himself. DDP whipped to the corner, counters with an elbow to Rick Rude, gets a hold of him. Belly to belly suplex center ring. Diamond Dallas Page rounds up, back body drop from Rick Rude to DDP. DDP moves in. Dragon Sleeper, hard right hand, takes Rude down the canvas, and these guys, they've each hit each other with their big-time moves. The Diamond Cutter and the Rude Awakening, and they're still fighting. I've got to say something about that. Diamond Dallas Page rounds up Rick Rude. Whips him to the far corner. Rude counters with an elbow. DDP counters with a kick. Rude counters a clothesline. Takes DDP down the mat. Rick Rude drags DDP. Look at this. Here we go, trying for an illegal pin. 1, 2, but only a 2. And Rick Rude Catching a little frustration here. DDP with a basement DDT from DDP. Oh, man, how about that? Rick Rude laid out, bleeding and counting the ring lights. DDP rounds him up. A series of jabs and a spinning clothesline. And again, Scott Bell doing whatever he can to make things easier for Rick Rude as DDP stalks Rude. Diamond cutter a second time. And here's a cover. But again, something's gone awry. Rick Rude counters with a kick, takes DDP down. Page rolls out to the floor. And Rick Rude's talking trash. DDP gets back up, gets back inside the ring. Rounds up Rick Rude again on the Dragon Sleeper. Shoves him away. Gets a hold of him here. This ain't gonna be... Oh, man, what a nasty neck breaker right there. Rick Rude counters, gets back up on his feet, delivers a stomp. DDP with a shoulder tackle. Takes Rude down. Diamond Dallas Page. Quickly countered by Rick Rude into another implant DDT. A back body drop from Page to Rude. A flip over neck whip from DDP, and here's another cover. 1, 2. As close to a near fall as we've gotten in this match. DDP presently in control of things. Rick Rude counters with an elbow, gets back up to a standing position. DDP hangs him up off the top rope. Ow. A stomp to the midsection. As Diamond Dallas Page rallies the fans here in Vancouver. And it looks like he's doing pretty good. Elbow to the midsection from Rick Rude. A counter from DDP. Another forearm that takes Rick Rude down to the canvas, and he is in the far corner trying to stand himself up. DDP tags him with another right. Rude counters with a shot and an elbow. A shoulder tackle takes Page down to the mat. And again, Rick Rude manipulating the turnbuckles and exposing the steel as he rounds up Diamond Dallas Page, sets him up for the whip. Oh, man, he caught all of it. Oh, dang. DDP. And some pain here as Rick Rude gets a hold of him, has him up, scoop slams him center ring. DDP countering with a leg sweep. Rude counters with the same leg sweep. Yeah, Rick Rude's starting to really bleed, and he's probably starting to get a little bit tired, too. DDP rounded up by Rick Rude. Into another pile driver. And Scott Bell certainly enjoyed the hell out of that one. DDP bleeding and busted open as Rude goes for the cover, hooks the leg. 1, 2, 3. Shut up. Ravishing Rick Rude picking up an upset win here over Diamond Dallas Page by pinfall.
Time, 12 minutes and 17 seconds. Your winner by pinfall, Ravishing Rick Rude.
Isn't that adorable? Bleeding like a stuck pig and still finds time to be vulgar. Oh, well, Rick Rude with an upset win here tonight over Diamond Dallas Page.
Well, none of us is happy with this particular outcome. Nobody, that is, except for Rick Rude and Scott Bell, who are clearly happy about this win. It puts Rude on the map even more squarely after his return at Legends Showdown Wednesday night, and in a braided means we're all gonna be treated to more of Ravishing Rick Rude.
As Sir Reggie Smith might say, delightful. Whatever next. Well, there you go, Ravishing Rick Rude picking up an upset win over Diamond Dallas Page, but we still got a whole lot more RWL snarl to get through, and we'll be getting back with all of it right after the break. Stay with us.